Hello and welcome to my channel. I have a vintage Doctor Who model kit from Airfix, and just for you guys I'm going to get it assembled and painted. So in this box we got the TARDIS itself, plus part of the interior, as well as Doctor and Martha. Although it's not essential, it has light and sound effects. Plus it comes with everything you need to build the kit, including paint, glue and brushes. And it's not small either. According to this, it's 24 centimeters tall. So let's open up this behemoth of a box. The first thing out, all the tools that you need, and if you look carefully you can see the lid of the TARDIS underneath. Then that's followed by all the parts and instructions. So we have the sticker sheet plus the background for the interior of the TARDIS. We also have the instruction booklet. On the back it tells you how to change the batteries. On the inside cover you've got the colour chart. And instruction wise you start off with the interior of the TARDIS, and that's followed by the exterior. And there's only a handful of steps to follow. And once you reach stage 12, it's time to assemble the Doctor. And Martha is assembled at stage 19. And by stage 24, all the assembly should be complete. And we also have detailed painting guides for each of the items. And for me this would definitely come in handy, as I'm not used to painting figures of this size. We also have 12 paints, 3 brushes and some glue. The TARDIS comes on 6 individual sprues plus the top. Plus there's also a couple of pieces of the console amongst them. And speaking of the console, that's mostly on one single sprue along with the windows. And those parts are also clear, although not all the pieces need to maintain their transparency. Then we have most of the Doctor's parts and 2 sprues. And the same goes for Martha. All the loose parts, such as the heads, are made out of rubber instead of plastic, which is a bit of an odd choice. But regardless, it's time to start snipping, and the console has the honour of going first. All the coloured parts can be cleaned up quite easily, just by using a little file, but you can't do this with the clear part as it will fog the plastic. But before I go any further, I just want to see if there's any interior lighting in this kit, because that will affect how I paint the console. So I open up the top section which houses all the electronics, and I inserted 3 AAA batteries. You can see the speaker underneath and the mechanism for opening the door. It's not looking hopeful for any interior lighting, but we do have to check. So pull down the lever and hope for the best. So no, we just have the one light on the top. So going back to the centre console, there's a big mistake on the first page. This part should be moved below the adjacent part. Frustratingly, that took me a while to figure out. There's no green paint with this kit, without a couple of areas with glow. So I'm applying the metallic green to the other side of the control panel, as well as the inner central shaft. So I'm going to glue all these parts together as well as get them painted, as some of it is easier to paint prior to assembly. I'm not going to cover every step, but let me show you I'm still on step 1. This is where the tinted shaft belongs. It's not very bright, but you can still see it. And the other piece forms the top half of the control panel. But every part from now on can be painted normally. Despite being old paint, they haven't dried up, they just need a good mixing first. There's only really 2 colours on the interior. A sort of stony grey and an old coppery gold. I need to carefully paint around the transparent parts. While I'm at it I get the walkways built up, which is step number 2. And I also get them painted. The instructions also mention when to dry brush and where to wash, although I've chosen to use panel liner as it's more accurate. And once all the parts are painted, I can complete final assembly. And that's the interior centrepiece completed. And that can be put to one side for now. Moving on to step 3, we have the telephone to assemble. The earpiece goes on first, followed by the backing plate. Then that can be painted its antique gold colour. Mine seems to have lost its shine, but it doesn't matter because I like the look of it. And we also have the door handle to attach for the exterior of the phone cabinet. Then the handle needs painting the same goldish colour. And the phone can now be glued to the inside of the door. Off camera I did a little wash to create some definition. Next, the phone cabinet can be assembled, although I dry fit it first. This is a good way to test it out before you commit to gluing. And we need to avoid putting any glue on the hinges. The windows feature in the next few steps and they all need to be painted grey. This is a huge waste of time They should be telling us to paint them all at once while they're still on the sprue. Plus at some stage the window frame needs painting blue, and it will save much more time doing it this way. So paint on the cream colour first, and this can either go on the front or the back of the glass. Then all the lines are painted in TARDIS blue. Now it's very hard to paint these lines perfectly straight, so more than likely you need to do a little bit of clean up work until they're more or less right. Then after spraying on a bit of clear coat, the window can be cut out and glued into place. I also get done the other door, and this includes painting the handle and the lock, as well as adding on the window. I also got the 3 double sections of the TARDIS done while I'm at it. And before these can be put together, I just need to paint the floor, and this ended up needing 3 coats. All the remaining TARDIS items also removed from the sprues and cleaned up, and then I can start adding them to the base. Frustratingly though, everything fits very loose, so there's quite a large margin for error. So dry fitting first is a must before you start adding glue. So as you can see, each side has a wall, a corner piece and a top piece. Next we apply the cardboard backing to the interior. This needs folding first, and with it being thick card, it's quite stubborn. Then finally we can insert the TARDIS console. This connects to a couple of pegs at the back. I found rubber bands very useful for holding the TARDIS together while the glue sets, and this helped me find the true alignment for a perfect fit. Then I apply the glass bulb along with the housing to the top of the TARDIS. This is supposed to rest on top, but with the TARDIS being very unstable, I glued it into place, and I made sure it aligned up with the peg on the door. This is about as far as the door opens, and it doesn't stay open, so we can't admire the interior that we spent so long painting. Anyway, we have 5 stickers to put on. First is the notice on the outside of the actual phone, then the please public call box goes on each side. That's the TARDIS done and can be put to one side for now. So I'm going to start work on the Doctor, and he's in pieces. This is usually the neatest way to paint the parts. I painted the soles of the trainers in white, although white is not supplied in this kit. 3 colours are listed for the hair, but only 1 supplied, so I'm using my own again. The suit should be pinstriped, but if I attempt that it'll look quite a mess, so I'm leaving it plain. And very slowly but surely I start to assemble him. Each new edition requires a little bit of painting to cover the seams or any glue spillages. So at first what feels like a very quick project is actually quite time consuming. But eventually you'll reach the end and the Doctor does look pretty cool in this pose. Now I just need to sort Martha out. And I follow pretty much the same process as I did with the Doctor, including painting several items on the sprues. Actually gives me greater control. This time I managed to use all the paint applied in the kit, with the exception of the silver, which I use for jewellery. The one big thing I don't really like about this kit is that some parts are made out of rubber and others out of plastic, when it should all be made out of plastic. But anyway, once Martha's assembled, this kit's completed. I was tempted to create a permanent base for this set, but I do prefer to have the Doctor and Martha movable, even though it means they're going to fall down more. It would be nice to have the TARDIS door open properly so we can see the inside, because right now it's accidentally wedged halfway open, so that is a huge oversight for this kit. Not to mention the atrocious painting instructions, because it often referenced the wrong colour or the wrong numbers for printed on the paint pots, and those numbers also rubbed off the first time you use the paint. But apart from all that, I do enjoy the results. And I've even mixed this set with the previous set which I built for this channel. To see that video, follow the link at the end. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if I can do it, so can you.